for coming out on this early Monday morning in the middle of the summer. And I'm hoping that this is also being live streamed. I don't know how many people are on the stream. We did get some number of registrations, so hopefully there's people out there in the world who have tuned in. And I was going to start with a little bit of a reminder of the activities from the day. So I have Florian, who's helping me run the computer and is also going to remind me of what is on the slides because I cannot remember all of my slides. So what is the first slide, Florian?
That's the cover slide.
Okay, this is our logo. This is our flyer. This was generated in collaboration with artificial intelligence, as one might imagine. But it took me about 27 steps because I would tell it to do a thing, and then it would generate an image, and then I'd have another AI describe that image. That was already a very bad feedback loop, so I'd send it to a human and then ask for feedback. And then they would give me feedback, and then I'd tell the AI system to make visual changes to the image. It was quite a fantastic team process to generate this. It involved me, 3 AIs, and 3 humans. And as far as I can tell, I'm very happy with the results. Because everyone else is. But I wanted to share a bit of that detail because, in fact, this event is a similar endeavor of many, many people putting in lots and lots of efforts and helping to guide and grow the thing. So I'm very grateful. People like Amy and Tom from the Executive Assistance Professional Services team at the university. There's a big old staff of people here at the watershed. There are people who have made this financially possible. Many, many people have taken a lot of time to travel from around the world to be here. And people are also taking time to be here and witness whatever it is that is about to unfold. So I just wanted to always start with a bit of gratitude and an acknowledgement that there's a lot of invisible work that makes things happen. So even though I happen to be standing at the front in the beginning, it is in no way indicative of me having made this happen, because this is definitely a community of people pulling together. So we'll switch to the next slide, and then you'll tell me what that slide is.
It shows you your wonderful smile and your credentials.
Oh, okay, it's a picture about me. No, that was supposed to be the agenda before that. All right. Is there another slide after that?
There is, yes.
What's after that?
That's the agenda.
Oh, yes, all right. So the agenda for the day is I'm going to talk for some amount of time. I'm going to share a little bit of a story of what me and some students have been up to over the last 2 months or 6 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. And then we will hear from some incredible international colleagues. We have Daniel Kish, who is here to give a talk about self-determination and whatever else ends up coming through as an important message for us to hear. We have David Johnson, who is an artist who will talk about a very deep and meaningful connection that he has with his mind and some experiences of that mind that he will share out. We have Florian Grand, who has flown over from Montreal and will give a talk about things that are possible in sound, that especially computer-generated sound. So one of the themes from today is there's a lot more possible with sound than many of us believe. So Florian is an incredible computer sound artist. And so we will talk about not only what's possible in the real world in sound, but also in synthesized computer audio. And then I'm very, very proud to have some students who are very actively moving objects into the exhibit hall and will share projects out during lunch, but they will give a little primer before lunch and give a short talk about their projects and invite you all to come for demonstrations at lunchtime. And then in the afternoon, we have a panel with some wonderful international guests who are echolocation practitioners, and Daniel, who will be giving one of the opening talks, will also be facilitating that panel and making sure that we surface some of the important information that we want to capture and share out to the world. And then it will just be time for networking, because oftentimes I struggle to find time and space to engage with people. So the panelists or the speakers or each other. We will just have time in the afternoon to engage. We can go do some more technology demonstrations and exhibitions if anything during lunch was interesting. And one of the big invitations for the day is to think together into the future. So how do we make things happen in time together is a really complicated challenge. And coordinating efforts and aligning interests takes time and takes space to build relationships. So thank you all for being willing to invest that amount of time and interest in each other and in the things that are going to emerge. So we can skip back one slide to the picture of me. Okay, so just for the online audience and maybe the pre-recorded version of this that others will find in the future, my name is Kyle Keane. I am a senior lecturer at University of Bristol. My specialty is assistive technologies, which are technologies that help people accomplish activities. I have a very specific interest in assistive technologies for people with disabilities, and an even more specific self-serving interest in technology that helps people who are blind, low vision, visually impaired, any of the many names that we use to describe that across the world. So I myself am blind. I have some tiny bits of vision. I had somebody once say that I had guiding sight, and I really liked that because there are some times when I see direct lights outside a door and I can walk towards the light. And even though they frequently tell us not to walk towards the light, in fact, it does help me occasionally to do so. And other than that, I am, quite functionally severely sight impaired and very happily identify as blind. And I am here in Bristol trying to build out an assistive technology community. So I very actively do not participate in a lot of traditional research methodologies that are extractive and take value out of communities in order to study them, and then people gain value about talking about what an expert they are in this community that they study, and then tell stories about to others who don't have direct access to the people. I think that particular way of doing research is not bringing experts from within domains in direct contact with people who would otherwise be able to drive and imagine things that those who are not within the community would have trouble even conceiving of. So I am here to sort of very publicly say I will be, attempting to build a community-led engineering program where we are building projects driven by the needs of the community, driven by the interests of the community, driven by the expertise and the imaginations of the community. I do have this wonderful friend, Dr. Florian Grand, who's also sitting right here. But in another role, he gives me incredible advice. And I was over in Montreal at his conference, Uncommon Senses, and he was talking to me about the importance, a technologist can learn a lot about a technology. They can imagine what it can do. And somebody who has, and then they can imagine, not only what it does, but what it can do. And somebody who has a different sensorium, a different way of being in the world, can in fact conceptualize and imagine things that others just would not have access to. And so bringing that type of expertise into the leadership role of community-led projects is a really fundamentally important thing, so that it's not just, I'm going to ask you the questions based on my preconceived notions of how you engage in the world, or even ask you open-ended questions, but not give you the chance to have the dignity of being the expert in the room. So today, I really hope that we can shift some of those power dynamics that exist and call me or other academics out if we are, in fact, not treating anyone in this room as an absolute and equal peer who has expertise beyond our ability to conceptualize. So that is my mild soapbox. I will not soapbox anymore today. And so we skip forward 2 slides to skip the agenda.
Undergraduate final year projects.
Undergraduate final year projects, yes, wonderful. So this morning I did want to just give a little more context about me and I've spent a year here in Bristol, hoping to spend decades now in the future. And one of the things I've been doing is gathering information about what mechanisms I have to try to make positive change in the world from within the current ecosystem. And I had a great success in that I got connected with a wonderful student who moved things forward. At the end of the computer science degree program here, we have a final year undergraduate project, and it is students who have something on the order of 30 hours per week for 3 months to build out a project of their own interest and ambition and when they do it with me, it is done in partnership with some type of a community partner or an industry partner of some type. So this year we had JP, who even won the best dissertation award, one of the prizes for one of the best dissertations. He worked on using artificial intelligence to transform everyday photos into audio tactile graphics by segmenting out things and putting text labels onto them so that it would be compatible with devices such as the one that will be on display in the exhibit hall, the Tactonom reader, which is a nice camera that tracks your finger as you interact with a raised line drawing, and it will then announce the different things that are underneath the finger so that people can have multimodal information. So JP will share a bit about his project. I just wanted to shout about the undergraduate final year projects. If people are interested in partnering and trying to find a student to work with, and especially somebody with a disability who has a particular activity where they think technology may be helpful, and that could be a direct individual using that technology, or a technology that helps change the systems around that person, or a technology that helps interface with the systems around that person. There's many different ways that technology can fit into the system, and very much want to make it clear that one of the themes today will be that technology is not always the solution, and that it can offer some things to some people in some circumstances, but there are often social and individual adaptations that can have really profound impacts as well. So that is undergraduate projects. What's the next slide?
Outcomes.
Outcomes. Oh, yes. Okay, there's subheadings on this one.
German Institute for the Study of Blind, please.
Yes.
Reading Conference,
Site City, yes, okay, perfect.
University of Marburg.
Yes, okay, so from this undergraduate project, one of the things I wanted to help plant inside of people's minds, a little seed to grow, is this student worked on this audio tactile graphics generation tool, and it captured his imagination, and he started to push it forward, and it did lead to some really wonderful experiences where we then traveled around and visited some trade shows and some universities and some schools for the blind in order to engage and find out if there was, what was stopping something from this becoming widely available. So we went to Site City, which is a large assistive technology trade show, especially focused on blindness and low vision in Europe. And we went around and we talked to many assistive technology companies, and the students engaged with technicians and salespeople, and they got to learn about the economics of distribution and the complexities of trying to raise money inside of this ecosystem, and the prices and why the prices are the way that they are, all of the complexities around the entire system, so that we don't leave the student feeling like, I've done the technology, that's great, and what next? What next is we have to then find compatibility with the wider ecosystem. So Site City, we went with a lovely group and team of students down to the trade show and engaged with many companies, looked at licensing and selling and open sourcing, and talked about all the complexities of that next decision that one has to make after one invents something fantastic. And then we went to Blista, the school for the blind, the main national school for the blind in Germany. And we got to meet with some teachers of visually impaired down there. We met with some administrators, some psychologists, some of the tactile learning materials management team, and talked to them about what things are actually useful in the classroom, how our technology may be helpful, where it falls short, always trying to get some critical feedback so that we can understand if there is something that could be improved, what is it? And that was a very educational experience for myself because it was a bit of a, international relationship building activity. So we were down there from the United Kingdom in Germany. We had people with us from the United States. So it was a really lovely delegation trying to build partnerships and make plans for the future. We visited University of Marburg in Germany, where they have some math for VIP, they call it, project, math for visually impaired people, and talked to them about scientific graphics and content. So the student project that we had done looked at everyday images and is starting to grow into some other directions that you'll hear about. And then we talked to them about scientific graphics and mathematical formula and the next level of complexity of graphical information. So that was a wonderful partnership. And then there was one more. Tactile reading and graphics in Amsterdam. So there was a lovely conference that happens every, I think, 2 or 4 years. I can't remember. I think it's every 4, called Tactile Reading and Graphics Conference, which brought together a wonderful collection of academics and industry partners, all interested in graphics that can be interpreted by touch, information that can be extracted through Braille and other types of, there was even some haptics people, some vibrations and things like that. So yes, that was some of the outcomes. So from this one undergraduate project, when the heart and the mind of a student gets captured, it gives a great opportunity to engage them into a whole new world. And it was a great honor to be able to bring some of these students along. And I was supposed to have one of these lovely undergrads next to me here, but they are unfortunately having to move equipment right now into the exhibit hall. So we'll hear from them in a bit. All right, so the next slide.
Community outreach events.
Community outreach events, yes. So earlier in the summer, I spontaneously, as I tend to do, ran a community outreach event called Good Vibrations. And it featured a lot about sound art and sort of inclusive theater and cinema and dance performances. Like, how do we make these cultural exhibitions, which used to be visual exhibitions primarily, into things that can be far more multisensory and engaging to more people? So I demonstrated some of my technology that we'll also have over in the exhibit hall, and got to talk to lots of different cinema and theater and dance companies about their interest in trying to make sure that the theater experience becomes something fundamentally unique and adds value to the in-person experience, especially for those who may not have the dominant ocular-centric experience. So it was quite a lovely event, and I will try to run more of these things with more notice for people to be able to get it in their calendars. I am learning as I go. So then probably outcomes again after that?
Yes.
Okay. What are the subheadings?
Spatial DJ Sound Lounge, Royal Academy of Music, Real World Studios, and Audio Experience.
Oh, yes, right. So this is the other thread, because a bit of this is, hey, getting to know you. This is some of the stuff I've done this year. This is some of the stuff I'd like to do in the years to come. So I have my obsession with accessibility and assistive technology, and I have this obsession with spatial audio because I think it is not just an assistive technology. It has this profound ability to offer whole new experiences to people. So from this lovely Good Vibrations event, I built some relationships and was able to go out into the world with a new batch of students. Well, a non-intersecting. It was some of the same students and some other students came along, and we went to visit Real World Studios and talk to some spatial audio people. So Real World Studios recently won a Grammy for their spatial audio album. Imperial College has the Audio Experience Laboratory, where they have custom head-related transfer functions that they measure, and they're looking at game audio and what's the easiest computational thing that's good enough for a video game. Is some of the research that they do, which is very much not in the vein of what I would like, which is what is the absolute best that we can do that's not chopping off human capabilities that are otherwise underappreciated sometimes, such as the ability to do echolocation in a virtual space. And yeah, so some of the outcomes from the good vibrations and the audio experience work that I am getting up to was just being able to engage and get out to the community. So if there are partners like this that you think I should be in touch with, feel free to shoot them my details. I would love to build relationships and try to move forward really, truly high fidelity spatial audio things. All right.
Community outreach events, Emergent Harmonics.
And then there's today. So today, Emergent Harmonics is my second attempt at a large community outreach event. I am proud to say that in a week, something has happened. So this is a bit of a last-minute sprint to pull this together, and I'm incredibly grateful for everyone who has made that happen on such short notice. And hopefully there will be really wonderful relationships built here, and we will learn, to think in different ways and to hear across different ways of speaking about experience, I think is one of the biggest outcomes that I think we can have. The emergent harmonics is, the poetry of emergent phenomenon is in physics. Sometimes complex systems just start to show levels of organized phenomenology that are beyond our, ability to understand by doing atom by atom simulations of a phenomenon. So there's sometimes really high order things happen in the world, even when we can't quite understand how the constituent parts manage to make that happen. So an emergent phenomenon, and the harmonics part is a little bit of a sound theme, but also in electronics, harmonics can be these fantastically destructive and powerful things. So a harmonic there's a fundamental frequency, and then many things start to resonate with it, and they add together in ways that can create really fantastically powerful phenomenologies. So, I'm really hoping that the noises that we make together will emerge into something much greater than the individual sum of our voices. So there is a genuine hope that we can, speak together and change things in a positive way. And then one more slide, I think.
A call for action.
A call for action. So I am here, I'm doing my darndest to try to build out communities and to have people engage in ways that they can ensure that they get value added back into the community. So I happen to be at a university, I happen to be able to do certain things, I have wonderful students who have incredible skills, and I really would like to build out ecosystems that involve community members who ensure that we are not just extracting information from that community in order to say that we've done something, but to really make sure the full ecosystem is there so that the innovations that we make feed back in and are adopted by the community themselves. So this is the call to action, is you now have a sense of undergraduate projects can lead somewhere, master's students also have projects, PhD students will hopefully follow unless I keep scaring them all away. So hopefully there will be an ecosystem growing on my side, and it will grow in as much as the external community would like to engage and can help ensure that we produce things that are of value. So hopefully today will be an example of community members saying, sharing what their interests are so that I can help align my efforts over the next year to move forward things in directions that actual individuals from within the community are calling out for. So that is my spiel. I don't know how long that took. What time are we at? My goodness gracious, perfect.